The plane door opened and the heat came in. It did not rush in. It did not explode. It simply entered the cabin slowly, like something alive. Connor felt it touch his face before he even stood up. He had imagined this moment for years. Thailand, Muay Thai, a new life. He thought he would feel brave. He thought he would feel ready. Instead, as he stepped into the airport tunnel, sweat already forming on his neck, he felt something else. Small, very small. Connor Walsh was 23 years old. From Cork, Ireland. He had trained in Muay Thai for 6 years. He was not a champion. He was not famous. But he was good. Good enough to win local fights. Good enough to think maybe, just maybe, he could become something more. His old coach back home had told him, "If you want to be real, you go to Thailand. You suffer there, then you see who you are." Connor liked that idea. He wanted to see who he really was. Now, standing in a long immigration line under bright white lights, he was not so sure. The officer at the desk looked tired. "Purpose of visit?" the officer asked. "Training," Connor said. "How long?" 6 months. The officer stamped the passport. The sound echoed louder in Connor's head than it should have. It sounded final, like a door closing. Outside the airport, Bangkok was loud and bright. Cars moved like flowing water. Motorbikes squeezed between lanes. Vendors shouted. The air smelled of fuel, fried food, and rain even though it wasn't raining. Connor stood still for a moment. He had one bag, one contact, one plan. The gym was far north, in a rural province most tourists never visit. His coach had given him the name, written on paper. Sakta Muay Thai Isan. Not a tourist gym, his coach had said. Not fancy, not friendly, but real. Connor wanted real. Now he wondered what that truly meant. The taxi driver barely spoke English. They agreed on a price with hand gestures and a calculator app. 6 hours north. Connor sat in the back seat, watching the city fade. Skyscrapers became smaller buildings. Buildings became houses. Houses became fields. Rice fields stretched endlessly under a pale sky. Water buffalo stood still in shallow water. Small wooden homes stood on stilts. It was beautiful, but it was also quiet. Too quiet. The farther they drove, the less he saw other foreigners. By hour 4, he realized he had not seen one in a long time. A small knot formed in his stomach. He told himself it was just nerves. They arrived after sunset. The taxi headlights lit up a dirt road lined with trees. There were no street lights, no shops, no noise, just insects. Then he saw it. A metal sign hanging slightly crooked. The paint faded. Sakda Muay Thai. The gym was open air. Tin roof. Concrete floor. One ring in the center. Heavy bags hanging in rows. No music. No crowd. No other foreigners. The taxi drove away immediately after dropping him. Its red lights disappeared into darkness. And just like that, he was alone. A man stepped out from behind one of the heavy bags. Thin, dark skin from years in the sun. Short gray hair. He wore flip-flops and a sleeveless shirt. "You Connor?" he asked. "Yes. I am Sakta." They shook hands. Sakta's grip was dry and strong. His eyes did not smile. "You train tomorrow, 5 a.m. That was all. No welcome speech. No tour. No kindness. Just instructions. Connor nodded. "Yes." Sakta pointed toward a small concrete building behind the gym. "You sleep there." The room was simple. One thin mattress, one fan, one small window with no glass, only bars. The fan made a clicking sound every time it turned. Clicking, clicking, clicking. Connor sat on the mattress. He could hear the insects outside. The gym creaked in the night wind. He told himself this was what he wanted. Real training, real fighters, no comfort, no distraction. He lay back and stared at the ceiling. For the first time since landing, he allowed himself to think. What if I made a mistake? The thought came quietly, then louder, then louder. He turned onto his side and closed his eyes. Eventually, sleep came. A loud bang woke him up. Not a knock, a bang. Training, someone shouted. It was still dark outside. He checked his phone. 4:42 a.m. His body felt heavy. Jet lag pressed against his skull. He forced himself up. Outside, 5 Thai fighters stood waiting. All young, all lean, all silent. None looked at him. They began to run. Connor followed. The road was dirt. The air was thick even before sunrise. They ran through fields, through a small village where old women swept the ground outside their homes. Dogs barked as they passed. No one spoke. No music. No jokes. Just footsteps. By kilometer 3, Connor's breathing became loud. By kilometer 6, his legs felt slow. The others did not slow down. They ran like machines. One of them glanced back at him. The look was not friendly. It was measuring, testing. Connor pushed harder. He would not be the weak foreigner. Not on day 1. When they returned to the gym, there was no rest. Skipping rope immediately. 3 rounds. 5 rounds. 10 rounds. His calves burned. Sweat soaked his shirt. Then shadow boxing. Then pad work. Sakta held pads for the Thai fighters first. They moved fast. Sharp. Precise. Every kick landed like a gunshot. When it was Connor's turn, Sakta did not hold pads. Instead, a younger fighter stepped forward. Maybe 19. Maybe 20. Serious face. Sharp eyes. This Aaron, Sakta said. Aaron nodded once. No smile. They began. Connor threw a jab cross. Aaron slapped the pad hard against his knuckles. Again. Harder. Connor threw a kick. Aaron smashed the pad into his shin with force. Pain shot up his leg. Connor tried not to show it. Aaron said one word. Again. No encouragement. No praise. Just work. Hours passed. Connor lost track of time. He slipped in sweat once and fell. Some of the Thai fighters laughed. Not cruel. Not kind. Just honest. He was behind them. That was clear. By the end of training, his arms trembled. His ribs hurt. His lungs felt scraped raw. Sakta finally approached. You fight? Sakta asked. Connor blinked. Yes, he said quickly. Sakta studied him for a long moment. Maybe. Then he walked away. Over the next few days, the routine stayed the same. Run, train, clinch, knees, elbows, conditioning. No comfort, no praise, just work. Connor's body began to change. His appetite grew. His sleep deepened. His shins bruised dark purple. But something else began to happen. Something small at first. He noticed conversations stop when he walked near. He noticed Sakta speaking quietly to men who arrived in pickup trucks. Money sometimes changed hands. The mood of the gym shifted slightly on those days. More tense, more quiet. One night, Connor saw Sakta arguing with a man beside a white truck. The argument was calm but serious. No shouting, just low voices. The man in the truck wore sunglasses, even though it was evening. That felt strange. Aaron stood nearby, watching, his jaw tight. After the truck left, Sakta noticed Connor watching. Their eyes met. Sakta's face showed nothing, but the look lingered longer than normal. Connor felt a chill despite the heat. 3 days later, Sakta called him into the office. "You fight next week," Sakta said. Connor's heart jumped. "Really?" "Yes, festival fight." "What weight?" 72. Connor normally walked around at 77. He swallowed. "That's 5 kilos. Sakta shrugged. "You want fight?" "Yes." "Then cut. Simple. No discussion. No help. Just an order." The weight cut began immediately. Plastic suit during runs. Less food. Almost no salt. Water slowly reduced. Connor's head began to ache. His mood changed. At night he lay awake sweating, heart pounding. He dreamed of water. Cold water. Aaron watched him closely during training now. Still silent, but more focused, more intense. 2 days before the fight, the white truck returned. Connor saw Sakta get inside. They spoke for a long time, longer than before. When Sakta stepped out, he did not look at Connor. That night, for the first time, Aaron spoke more than one word. "You ready?" Aaron asked in broken English. "I think so." Aaron stared at him long, then said quietly, "Be careful." "Careful of what?" Aaron hesitated, then shook his head. "Just fight hard." The next evening was the weigh-in at a temple fair. Bright lights, music, children running, food stalls everywhere. The ring stood on concrete under colorful banners. It felt festive, but underneath, Connor sensed something else. His opponent arrived late. He was bigger than expected. Thick neck, scar across his eyebrow. Older, experienced. Connor looked at Sakta. "This 72. Sakta did not answer. The man from the white truck stood nearby, smiling. Watching. Always watching. Backstage, Aaron wrapped Connor's hands. "Tight. Very tight." "You strong?" Aaron said. "You sure?" Connor asked. Aaron looked at him in a way that made his stomach tighten. "No," Aaron said softly. The bell rang. The crowd roared. Connor moved fast at first, trying to stay sharp. But the first low kick landed hard, like wood striking bone. Then another, and another. His opponent did not rush. He stalked, patient, confident. Second round. An elbow cut Connor's forehead open. Blood ran into his eye. He blinked red. He looked to his corner. Sakta's face showed nothing. The promoter smiled. Third round. A knee slammed into his ribs. Something cracked. He dropped. The referee began counting. 1, 2, 3. The crowd blurred. 4, 5. He looked at Sakta. No urgency. 6, 7. At 8. The promoter climbed into the ring, shouting, arguing with the referee. Money changed hands. Connor saw it clearly. The referee stopped counting, then waved. Continue. The round had not ended. His opponent was already standing over him. Smiling, Connor understood something cold in that moment. He was not meant to win. He was not meant to survive clean. He was meant to fall. His opponent lifted him by the neck, whispered something in Thai, then raised his elbow high, aimed straight down at Connor's exposed temple, and brought it down. The elbow never landed, at least not the way it was meant to. Connor would remember the sound before anything else. Not the crowd, not the shouting, not even the pain. The sound, a dull crack, but not his skull. Something else. Then wait. Bodies colliding. The world shifting sideways. Then darkness again. When he opened his eyes, everything was quiet. Too quiet. For a second, he thought he had gone deaf. The ceiling above him was metal. Rust along the beams. A slow-moving fan turning in circles. Clicking, clicking, clicking. He knew that sound. His room. Back at the gym. He tried to sit up. Pain exploded across his ribs. A sharp, deep pain that made his breath catch halfway in. He dropped back down. The air felt thick. His mouth was dry. His tongue felt swollen. He turned his head slowly. Aaron was sitting on a plastic chair near the wall, elbows on his knees, watching him. "You awake?" Aaron said. Connor blinked. "What happened?" Aaron did not answer right away. He stood up and poured water into a metal cup, held it to Connor's lips. Small sip. The water felt like life. Cold. Real. Connor swallowed carefully. His head throbbed. "My head," he muttered. "Doctor," Aaron said, 3-stitch. Connor lifted a shaky hand to his forehead. There was a bandage there, sticky with dried blood. "The elbow?" Connor asked. Aaron's jaw tightened. "No." "What do you mean, no?" Aaron looked at the door, then back at Connor. He tried, but not elbow. "Then what?" Aaron hesitated, then said quietly, "Kick after stop." Connor frowned. "What?" "Ref stop fight, you down, promoter shout. Ref say continue, you stand, he kick." A slow wave of understanding spread through Connor's body. Cold. Heavy. "He kicked me when I was getting up." Aaron nodded once. Back of head. Connor closed his eyes. That explained the darkness, the strange blank space in his memory. "That's illegal," Connor whispered. Aaron did not react. Instead, he said, "You lose by knockout." Connor let out a weak laugh that turned into a cough of pain. "Of course I did." He lay there for a long time, listening to the fan, listening to insects outside. The gym was quiet. Too quiet. "Where is Sakta?" Connor asked finally. "Outside." "Did he say anything?" Aaron's face was unreadable. "He say you not ready." The words stung more than the kick. Connor stared at the ceiling. He replayed the fight in his head. The promoter climbing into the ring. The money. The referee stopping the count. Something was wrong. Deeply wrong. "Was it fixed?" Connor asked. Aaron didn't answer. He stood up. "Rest." Then he walked out. That night Connor did not sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he felt the kick again. The sudden snap. The blackness. He tried to move carefully. His ribs screamed with every shift. Somewhere outside, voices murmured. Low. Serious. Not laughter. not normal conversation. He slowly sat up. Pain stabbed through his side, but he forced himself to his feet. Each step toward the window felt like walking through water. He leaned carefully toward the open bars. Outside near the ring, Sakta stood with the promoter. The white truck was parked near the road. The headlights were off. The only light came from a single hanging bulb above the ring. The two men were speaking quietly, but their body language was sharp, tense. At one point, the promoter stepped closer. Too close. Sakta did not step back. Money appeared again. More than before. The promoter shoved it into Sakta's chest. Hard. Then turned and walked to the truck. Before getting in, he looked toward Connor's room. Even from a distance, Connor felt it. That look. Not friendly. Not curious. Calculating. The truck engine started. Red lights disappeared into the dark. Sakta stood alone in the yard for a long time after. Not moving. Just standing. Like a statue. The next morning, there was no 5 a.m. run for Connor. The other fighters left without knocking on his door. He heard their footsteps fade down the dirt road. He felt useless lying there. Broken. Slow. He tried to sit up again. This time he managed it. Each breath hurt. But he could sit. Small victory. Aaron entered without knocking. He carried a bowl of rice and soup. Eat, he said. Connor nodded. Thank you. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Connor said, Tell me the truth. Aaron did not look at him. The fight was it set up. Aaron stared at the floor. Long pause. Then, promoter bet. Bet on what? On you lose. Connor felt the words like another blow. And Sakta. Aaron hesitated. Sakta need money. For what? No answer. Instead, Aaron stood up. Rest more. Aaron. The young fighter stopped at the door. Connor forced the words out. Did they know I would get kicked like that? Aaron looked back at him. His eyes were different now. Not cold. Not empty. Afraid. I don't know, he said. Then he left. That day passed slowly. Pain. Silence. Heat. Connor drifted in and out of shallow sleep. When he woke again in the afternoon, he heard something strange. Shouting. Not angry shouting. Training shouting. But louder than usual. He forced himself up again. Walked carefully to the window. In the ring, 2 Thai fighters were sparring hard. Too hard. Blood already on the canvas. Sakta stood watching. Arms crossed. No instruction. Just watching. One fighter threw an elbow that clearly cut the other above the eye. Blood ran down. But Sakta did not stop it. Instead, he nodded once. The sparring continued. It was not normal. Even Connor knew that. You don't go that hard in the gym. Unless something else is happening. Unless someone wants damage. That evening, Sakta finally came to his room. He stood in the doorway. You okay? Sakta asked. Connor stared at him. I got kicked in the back of the head. Sakta shrugged slightly. Fight is fight. No, Connor said. That wasn't a fight. Silence. Sakta stepped inside. You want be real fighter? He asked. Yes. Real fighter lose. Real fighter hurt. That's not what I mean. Sakta's eyes hardened. You're not ready, you too soft. Connor felt anger rise. He swallowed it. If I wasn't ready, why put me in that fight? Another silence. Then Sakta said something that made Connor's stomach drop. Because promoter asked. The honesty was worse than denial. So I was just what? A body. Sakta's face did not change. You foreigner, people pay see foreigner lose. The words hung in the air. Heavy, ugly, and the money, Connor asked quietly. Sakta looked toward the door. Then back. Jim need money. For what? Long pause. Then Sakta said. Debt. What debt? But Sakta was already turning away. Rest, train again soon. Then he left. That night Connor's fear changed shape. It was no longer just about losing. It was about being used. About being placed in fights not to grow, but to fall. He thought about home, about Ireland, about his coach, about pride. Then he thought about the promoter's eyes. That calculating look. He felt it again, like someone measuring how much damage he could take, how much he was worth, not as a fighter, as a loss. 2 days later, Connor could walk normally again. His ribs were still sore. His head still ached. But Sakta told him to train lightly. Light training at Sakta gym still felt brutal. During clinch work, one of the older fighters leaned close and whispered in Thai. Connor didn't understand the words, but he understood the tone. It was not friendly. It was warning. Later that day, Aaron approached him while they were alone near the heavy bags. You think go home? Aaron asked. Connor paused. No. Aaron nodded slowly. Then be careful. You said that before. Yes. Careful of who? Aaron looked toward Sakta's office. Then toward the road. Promoter come again soon. For what? Another fight. Connor stared at him. I just got knocked out. Aaron gave a small, humorless smile. Yes. The meaning was clear. That was the point. That evening, Connor lay on his mattress staring at the ceiling. The fan clicked above him. Click, click, click. He felt something shifting inside him. Not fear. Not anger. Something harder. He did not come to Thailand to be a victim. He did not come to be someone's gambling piece. If they wanted him to lose, they would have to work harder next time. He closed his eyes. And for the first time since arriving, he made a quiet decision. He would not tell Sakta. He would not tell Aaron. But he would change how he trained. He would watch. He would listen. And when the next fight came, he would not follow the script. Outside, somewhere beyond the dirt road, a truck engine started. Connor did not hear it, but the white truck was already moving again, coming closer. That night, Connor did not sleep. Not fully. He drifted in and out, ribs aching, head throbbing softly, sweat cooling and warming again in cycles. But his mind stayed sharp, watching, listening. The insects outside never stopped. The fan above him kept clicking. Click, click, click. Every time it turned, it felt like a clock counting down to something. The next morning, the white truck arrived before sunrise. Connor heard it this time. Engine first, then tires over dirt. He sat up slowly. Pain still there, but less sharp now. Through the bars of the window, he watched. The promoter stepped out. Same sunglasses, even though the sun was barely rising. Sakta was already outside waiting. That meant this meeting was planned. They spoke briefly. Then the promoter walked around the gym, looking at the fighters stretching. His eyes scanned them like livestock. He stopped at Aaron, said something. Aaron shook his head slightly. The promoter smiled. Not a kind smile. He then looked toward Connor's room. This time he waved. Slow. Like he knew Connor was watching. Connor felt something cold settle in his stomach. Training that morning felt different. The air felt tighter, less relaxed. When Connor began pad work with Aaron, Aaron was quiet, even more than usual. After 2 rounds, Aaron stopped holding pads. He stepped closer. You fight again, he said. Connor's heart beat once hard. Went 5 days. That's insane. Aaron did not react. Opponent good. How good? Aaron hesitated. Very. Connor wiped sweat from his face. Is it another setup? Long silence. Then Aaron said something unexpected. You don't lose this time. It was not encouragement. It was not confidence. It sounded like instruction. After training, Connor sat alone behind the gym. There was a small tree there that gave shade. The ground was cracked and dry. He pressed his fingers against his ribs. Still sore. 5 days. He thought about leaving. He could pack his bag, call a taxi, go back to Bangkok, fly home. No one would blame him. But something inside refused. If he left now, he would always wonder. Always feel small. Always think he ran. He could not accept that. That afternoon, he decided to test something. During sparring, he went harder than usual. Not wild. Not reckless. But sharp. Focused. When his partner threw a lazy kick, Connor countered clean and hard. The other fighters noticed. Sakta noticed. Training slowed. Eyes on him. He did it again. Sharp elbow. Clean knee. Not showing off. Just refusing to be weak. Sakta finally stepped into the ring. He gestured for Connor to spar with Aaron. The gym went quiet. Aaron climbed through the ropes. They touched gloves. The first exchange was light. Feeling distance. Then Aaron's pace changed. Fast. Hard. Not normal sparring. Connor blocked a kick. Returned one. Aaron stepped inside and clinched hard. Knees came fast to the body. Testing the ribs. Connor gritted his teeth. Held position. Returned knees. Neither smiled. Neither spoke. It was no longer sparring. It was a message. After a minute, Sakta shouted something in Thai. They broke. Aaron stepped back. Breathing steady. He gave Connor a very small nod. Almost invisible. But real. That night, Connor heard raised voices again. This time louder. From Sakta's office. He moved quietly to the window. The promoter was inside. So was another man Connor had never seen before. Bigger, thicker arms. Tattoo on his neck. The door was slightly open. Voices carried. Connor could not understand most of it. But he caught one word repeated several times. Faring. Foreigner. They were talking about him. He leaned closer. The bigger man laughed. A low, ugly sound. Then the promoter said something in English. Clear enough. Second time must finish. Connor froze. Second time must finish. Finish what? Finish him. He stepped back from the window slowly. His heart was racing now. This was not about building a fighter. This was about money. About betting. About making sure outcomes happened. He lay back down, staring at the ceiling. 5 days. The next morning, the training changed again. Connor was pushed harder than ever. Extra rounds, extra clinch, extra conditioning. No explanation, just pressure. His ribs hurt again. His legs felt heavy. But something else was happening. He was adapting. His body was adjusting to the heat. His breathing steadied faster. His kicks felt sharper. On the third day before the fight, something happened that shifted everything. During clinch training, one of the younger Thai fighters collapsed. Just dropped. No warning. The gym froze. Sakta walked over calmly. The fighter was conscious but shaking. Eyes unfocused. Too much weight cut. Too little water. Sakta slapped his face lightly. Spoke to him. Then turned to the others. Training resumed. No ambulance. No concern. Just continue. Connor looked at Aaron. Aaron did not look back, but his jaw was tight again. That night, Aaron came to Connor's room. He closed the door behind him. First time he had